fairly brief, but thank you all for having me, and thank you, Fran, for inviting me. I'm super excited. So I've only been at Mayo since March, so don't hit me with any super tough questions. It could be a little crazy, but my name is Melissa Baer. I work in our marketing department under public affairs, and my role is a little bit new to Mayo, and I'm focusing on patient engagement and loyalty. So I'm here to kind of talk to you about two things today. One is participation in a pilot program that we're developing over this fall, and the other one is to offer opportunity for recruitment for your various PFACs. So a little bit of history about me. I used to work at a nonprofit organization before this called Caring Bridge, which does websites for folks going through health issues, if any of you have ever used it. And in that role, I worked with a lot of our families to help spread the word about Caring Bridge. And that's kind of a similar directive that I'm looking to do here. So Mayo Clinic, of course, is such a wonderful facility and does a lot of great work. And often folks come here and just feel like this was the best thing that happened to me. I'm so glad I made the choice to come here. And they become advocates of Mayo. I'm looking to find those people to help participate in building this pilot program. So my call to you is, if that describes you, which it very well may, I imagine, since you're engaged with Mayo at this level, I would love to have you volunteer to participate in this pilot and work with me and my team to sort of design opportunities for folks to help spread the word across the country. And second is, as I'm reaching out to our patient base, there also may be opportunities to recruit new members for your PFACs. So one thing that at Caring Bridge people often wanted to do, right, was sort of give back to the organization. And some folks like you all really want to go all in and really participate in helping build, improve the system, give feedback. So I think a PFAC is a great venue for that. So let me know if you're interested, or maybe we can send my email out after.
Yeah.
I should have included that in the agenda.
I would typically will take the presentations and put them up on the Engage site, the PFAC site, and then I send a note out to all the leaders. So we can include your email if anyone wants to reach out to you to join this.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Hi, Melissa. I just have a question about if someone were to participate as a volunteer, what type of a time commitment would an individual be looking at, and what specific things would they be doing as part of the pilot program?
It's really a choose your own time limit. So there's no minimum requirement or maximum. I would say I would be looking for, my one stipulation or request would be that you provide feedback. So you could be doing things like, sharing Mayo patient stories, telling other folks about experiences at Mayo. You could be signing up for the email list and giving me feedback on that. We'll have a training program. You could take that. That'll probably just be very brief, under 10 minutes, to kind of prep you. And some of you may have already done this. If there's a training program that goes around for PFACs, we have one for our volunteers here, I know. It could be like 10 minutes. If you really want to get involved and you want to start investigating things like how to reach out to your local hospital, I don't know if you all are from Rochester or not, but let's say you're in New York or you're in Kansas. How do you make connections and maybe go and speak at support groups, or learn how you can sort of help folks find out about Mayo Clinic? Yeah, I think you had a question too.
Basically, it's similar to ours, but I'm still not sure I understand. I think most of the people here are from Rochester,
Okay.
not from other cities, although we may live in other cities. I'm still a little unclear on exactly what kind of skill set and what you're actually having to volunteer to do.
What they would do?
What they would actually do.
So there's a variety of things you could do. One thing you could do, let's say, is go into like a brain tumor support group meeting, and maybe you share your experience at Mayo Clinic if that was your experience. and talk about how you got there and what kinds of opportunities, because you may encounter folks that are in the space where they're looking for, say, a second opinion. It's common for Mayo, and why they should come here. You could do like social media sharing programs. So let's say I email you and I ask you to share part of this campaign that we're working on, and it's got and it's like all you have to do is sort of click on a share button and spread the word. So it could be as simple as that.
So it's essentially just describing your experiences at Mayo Clinic to other people.
Correct. It's kind of like you guys, I imagine, do it in real life every day, right? Mayo's sort of built on, maybe not every day, but Mayo's sort of built on word of mouth marketing. And so that happens organically. So it's about how do we better leverage the people that really are the best voice for describing why Mayo is the place you should be. You know, it's different. Most of you probably know that sometimes hearing from that person that's been there or can be that extra push to me. You know, the example Colleen gave of that gal, it's like you should really go to Mayo Clinic. Sometimes you need to hear that. So for us, Mayo Clinic's like there are thousands of people, right, in the country, in the world that are suffering and need help, and our job is to help them. So how do we best find them and leverage our folks to encourage others to come?
The only problem is that most of us in this room are people who live in Rochester, so the experience we have is very different from the experience of somebody coming from another state and coming to Rochester and staying in hotels. We might theorize about that, but we don't actually experience that. We're basically all Rochester people. So if you're looking for people to say, well, I came from Idaho and this is my experience here, it's very different when you live here because you don't have the experience with the hotels. You don't have the experience on how it works when you're set up for like a 1-week series of visits.
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to describe, at least that's my impression, of what happens to people from out of town.
I'd say think more about, less worry about the travel and like that's nice to have the insider, but thinking more about your experience as a patient and how that differs from your healthcare experience elsewhere and what that person might be going through. You know, so why did you choose to come to Mayo? What is the treatment and the environment and the approach that made you say, thank God? You know, some people, literally, their life was saved, right? Some people, it's about that coordination of care and the treatment they give you, but to kind of help give people an extra nudge. And it's describing that difference in your own words to someone else who has never had that experience, so that they don't know, well, why should I come to Mayo? Maybe I should just stay where I am, or, you know, do I want to, you know, even up in the cities, do I want to go all the way down there? What's the difference?
So
Does that help?
I think Barry's got a good point, because the people we would see are the people who are already here.
Yeah, it's like your network is fairly localized, kind of. Is that what you're saying?
Now, my question was,
Yeah.
I recognize the name Caring Bridge. Could you just give us a real short idea of what their primary goal is and how they're funded and who they serve?
Sure. So I'll just repeat the question so everybody can hear. So you were asking, what is Caring Bridge and who are the people they serve? So Caring Bridge is a nonprofit organization, actually started by a woman here in Minnesota. It's headquartered up in Eagan. And she literally, they build websites. I'm having a little dystopia there. They build websites for people to use to help inform all their family and friends as to what's going on when you're going through a health journey. So basically what it does is, instead of you calling and emailing everybody and their brother, you have your own website where you can, you know, give an update. Okay, I just had surgery, here's what's going on, and it will automatically notify all the people that you've invited to be a part of it. And you can kind of control your own privacy. You can just have people, certain people that you want only to be a part of it. You can let your friends and family forward it. So a lot.
And how do they find you?
Huh?
How do these people find you?
How do you invite them via a link? And so you can email them a link.
No, I mean, how do the people you serve find you?
Oh, how do the people serve on Cambridge? A lot of times, people that use it or being invited is very common. So Cambridge has about 35 million users annually. God, I think it's like, I want to say the number is 500 billion over time in every single country and territory in the world. So it's fairly high volume.
And you're funding to support this?
Individual people. Over 90% of the funding is people like you and me
Donating.
making donations. It's amazing, which is quite unusual for a nonprofit. Yeah, I'm running a Cambridge promo now. But it is really great for healthcare, especially a lot of us nowadays, Ray, you might have family and friends that are in different states, across the world even. Becomes difficult. Everybody knows at once, so nobody feels bad if somebody was called first or misinformation. That's sort of grapevine.
Becomes the focal go-to point for questions. When you
Yeah.
think of like all the people, when somebody has a car accident or something tragic happens or anything.
Yes.
All the people that want to be looped in out of the goodness of their heart, really, but the burden that is to the people that have to care for that person is an enormous burden. So this platform kind of elevates it. People even ask for it, right?
Yes.
So how they find Caring Bridge, a lot of people have used it because they have friends, and so when something happens, I actually have friends who have something going on right now, and the first thing they said is, we need a Caring Bridge site for Mark.
Yeah.
And just because they don't want the burden of having to communicate, and there's probably 5 people keeping that Caring Bridge site up. Every day they visit him, and they're keeping everyone who knows him informed.
Yeah, there are things that, other things that Caring Bridge does, like advertising. Caring Bridge is actually a partner of Mayo Clinic, so there's several hospitals that work with it. And a lot of healthcare professionals, honestly, nurses in particular, are huge advocates and tell people about it that they see every day because they're on the front lines with that, that barrage, like you said, for the caregivers and family.
I mentioned this here one other time. We have a friend down in Arkansas, and she was really having some back problems. So I asked her, do you want me to contact the back surgeon that I had, his nurse, and have them get in touch with you?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a long story short, there's more to it than that. That nurse called her just shortly after I had talked to her, or called the nurse, and had everything all lined up, brought her in here. Had surgery
Wow.
and out of here in just a few days.
That's amazing.
She's a firm believer of Mayo Clinic. She's here for cancer and 2 or 3 heart operations and now back. So she knows this organization. But that's the type of person I think you want to talk to.
You are so correct, sir.
You know?
We've got a gal from Lincoln, Nebraska, that literally would drive people up here. I'm talking, get them in the car physically and drive them up to Mayo. So, I find that amazing. But, so yeah.
I know of a lady in Kansas who does that.
Does that too?
Yeah, she came here as a child, and she was 10, and she's my age now. She still comes here for visits from Kansas, and she's telling people to go there when her friends get sick and they need a different level of care that's available in Kansas City. She literally puts them in a car and drives them.
That's awesome.
And then she calls me and wants to have lunch.
The other thing, you were talking about types of activities. As part of this pilot, we have some design but I really want to access all of our patient community to help build what are the kinds of things you could do, because stuff is going to bubble up from your own experience or connections. You know, we had a gal at Carrying Bridge that did seminars for chronic pain management, and she traveled all over the world doing this, and she had reached out to us, and she was a volunteer at a hospital in Israel, and she was an avid Carrying Bridge user, kind of, you know, very much an advocate. And she ended up taking our materials. She translated them all into Hebrew for us, delivered it back to the hospitals. Israel has their hospitals are all sort of linked. And then she, just by her own will, started talking about Carrying Bridge and got us embedded into that entire Israeli hospital system. So sometimes it's amazing what one person can do, but it also matters that one-on-one interaction, and that just raising your hand and saying, this, you know, this is a great thing. This is really a place you need to go. And people hearing that, you know, I don't want to liken it to buying the shoes, but in this world today, right, when you're looking at purchasing something, you're looking online, you're hearing what people have to say about it, because you don't have to believe what companies tell you. And so healthcare, obviously very more serious, but you want to hear from people that have been there to what is it really like? You know, why should I go there? It's a scary thing. It's a big decision. And you folks, you know, you sort of know the gamut. You're bought into the story, but others, you know, they don't know. Have I just babbled on too much?
No, you did a good job.
So we're really early stages, and it's really about building up and kind of defining, you know, where can we do here? Where can we have the most impact?
And to me, my former life was in public affairs for 8 years, and this is a totally new role at Mayo. So what that told me when I met you is we're listening to the voice of patients right now, and that we're actually hiring people and I'm doing this because you guys know I work in the Office of Patient Experience, and we want to help everybody, but we don't have an FTE to fully support all the PFACs. So that's what's been so hard. But when another area gets to hire someone to fully support patients and the patient voice, that's really important. So I'm really grateful that you were able to come. And please, if there's more questions, but no, you'll get Melissa's email. So if you want to help her with this work, feel free to reach out to Melissa.
All in.
All in.
I was just thinking, this is Cindy from the Office of Patient Experience, and even having like a poster or a banner or something in our main office where patients come in and out.
Oh, yeah.
On both of these programs, or a flyer.
That'd be
that
great.
we could hand out to patients and say, you know, sometimes maybe their experience wasn't what they had hoped, but to know that there are some other patient resources beyond what we can offer would be helpful tools to pass out, I think.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And we actually, Colleen and I have been working closely together. So sort of the, like you all have a PFAC group, we'll have a page on Connect, and that'll kind of be our hub. So people, because you've got, Connect has Mayo patients, current, former in there, but it also has, as you saw, a lot of new people, right? So we're kind of syncing up on that.
Yeah. Are your marketing efforts directed at all towards the 50, 60,000 employees who have their own patient experiences, or their family members throughout the United States? Is there, can employees be volunteers as well for this pilot?
For sure. I would want, employees are going to be skewed, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I would not want a whole pilot group of employees. I don't think that would be productive. I mean, I think that would be good, but that would skew our learnings. So that's probably the only thing I would watch out for.
And I think their healthcare is different than ours.
Yes. Yes.
I was going to ask, how are you planning on recruiting for the PFACs? Because that sounds like a very different function from the one you just mentioned.
It's
because we're local people mainly, or maybe at least in the region. How how you seem to be more involved in kind of stories from nationals. I'm just wondering, how are you going to be helping us recruit local?
For example, if I knew that a certain PFAC was looking for new people to participate, there's an opportunity to kind of partner on who you're looking for. Maybe you want them only to be local, right? That could be one type of stipulation. Maybe you are looking for a particular type of experience or age. When I reach out to that patient population, it's almost like an opportunity to kind of promote other ways to engage with Mayo is kind of how I look at it. So I could target the type of person you need, only local. Don't invite people in Arizona, right? Or, you know, right. And so I could target in that way if needed. So, and it's because I know from my background that when we start talking to people, they're going to want to do all kinds of different things, and there can be quite a wide variety. So there'll be some exploring as to what Mayo Clinic patients, yeah. So I've been meeting with people and trying to collect programs already in place that I know might be of interest to folks as they reach out, because it just means there's more choice of things they can do.
So like, for example, we have a feedback called Run Boys, which has to do with cardiology.
Right.
So how would you recruit for that? I mean, are you going to put ads in the paper? Like what are you actually going to do? I'm just wondering if we could learn a lesson about how to recruit from you. I'm just wondering, what would you do to recruit more people for
them?
For them or any other particular specialty feedback?
I would be using primary vehicle of email. So I'm going to throw some marketing on you because it's a high conversion channel. Like if you mail them stuff and that doesn't get as good a response as email. And you can kind of calculate your conversion rate based off industry standards for the list you start with. So with the heart example, let's say you've got 10,000 people that have come to Mayo Clinic. I'm going to make assumptions, right? Have come to Mayo Clinic, have been treated in our heart department in some way, shape, or form. Legal stipulations like, okay, I've opted into email and I'm interested. You literally email them and invite them to be a part of it. And then, there are things you can do with how you talk about what you need them to do. Cindy was a great one. She brought up like the number one question, like how much of my time do you need? You guys know. What do you expect me to do? What am I going to be involved in? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. So different ways you present that content is a way to do it. I'm sure there's a lot of local avenues as well here within Mayo that I might not be as versed in yet. There's certain things I know that I've learned, but.
So you're going to get basically the phone numbers of the patients who've been in cardiology.
Or the email, yeah.
The emails, and you're going to then email them.
If they feel that's okay, yep. If they've said yes, you can email me. Yeah. And then I'll be seeing how that response pans out.
And just to clarify too, recruiting for a PFAC is very different than recruiting for what Melissa is recruiting for. They're different groups. They're different kinds of groups with different goals.
Right.
Right.
She's going to be recruiting for a PFAC, so.
Well, I'm saying I can, if I have a group of patients that I'm working with, some of them may want to be a part of PFAC, at which point.
She's another node connecting with patients in the organization.
Right, but not systematically.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
You're always looking for a system, Barry. I just never have one for you.
I just thought you might have some magical way.
I did too.
Yeah. Be great.
No, it's just more people in the club with the same passion that we all have.
Yeah, and I've been really partnering closely with Fran, obviously as a new person, for how to work with you guys. So she would be a buddy on that.
But I think, that's really how things happen at Mayo. It's so relationship built, this organization. you know, the longer you've been here, the more network you have. And when you know something's going on, I mean, it's how I started reaching out to the MIRGs, and I don't know if we have a MIRG member here. I think we might, but I don't know if we do. But, you know, now I've met people that are engaging with other patients in the organization that aren't connected with PFAC. So I'm letting them know what we're doing, and they're letting me know what they're doing. And, you know, slowly it's going to become a movement.
Right.
It's over time, it feels like it's taking a long time. But I see changes happening. You're a very visible one.
You know, we also have a coronary club here for southeastern Minnesota.
Oh,
Tell me
yeah,
about the
do ya?
clubs.
And, you know, you could give this little presentation like that.
Oh, that'd be
Maybe
fabulous.
Educate us that are in there, and also you may get a live one.
Get a live one. No pun intended.
But
You may
even
want to
those
talk to
people-
Jim on scheduling that.
Even those people are mostly in the region, Mandy and Rochester, but in the region, they're not gonna have stores where they have.
Yeah, yeah, I hear what you're saying. There's a
Yeah, it's
local
definitely
focus.
a different experience than traveling. People definitely hear me.
Yeah. But even there, you brought an idea, right? How many, so Minnesota, Southeast region has a club. How many clubs are there like this all over the country?